Hi everyone, I am visiting St. Paul, Minnesota today. I'm going to explore the Minnesota State Capitol, and I'm going to walk around downtown St. Paul, and I'm going to meet a City Council member of the St. Paul, Minnesota. She is City Council member Kim, and the reason why I'm going to meet with her is because she invited me to meet with her after I had sent her a letter thanking her for being an advocate for people with disability rights and how she truly inspires me to work hard on my disability, which is autism, including a learning disability. And I wanted to include in my letter to her that I really appreciate her advocacy for people with disability rights and how it really gives me a voice. And so I'm very excited to meet City Council member Kim, and I will look forward to exploring the rest of St. Paul, Minnesota. And right here, I'm in the Rice Park, a nice little park here. I'm just exploring it, so I'm excited for today. There's a statue of F. Scott Fitzgerald. He's one of my favorite authors, and I like reading his book called The Great Gatsby. It was actually one of my favorite books that I read when I was in high school. And so I really admire F. Scott Fitzgerald's writing and his creativity, and also liked his work on advocating for civil rights, including people with disability rights. So he's a very true inspiration to me. Hi everyone, I'm the Hubert Humphrey statue right near the Minnesota State Capitol, and I really enjoyed walking around his little area to read some of his quotes that he talked about when he served in the U.S. Senate, and also when he served as Vice President of the United States under President LBJ. I wanted to say that when I was young, in my history classes, I really enjoyed learning about Hubert Humphrey because he really worked hard on being a supporter of civil rights, including people with disability rights, and how he worked with President LBJ on trying to expand on the Great Society, a program to help many people, like help many workers um, get equal treatment, expand on combating against discrimination policies, expanding on healthcare services to help many people who are poor or disadvantaged or with a disability, and also to help people who struggle in life, and also being a strong advocate on giving food stamps to many people who struggle with poverty. And so I myself have autism, including a learning disability, and I've always been inspired by um, Honorable Humphrey for his continuous work on people with disability rights, and also being a strong supporter of civil rights. And so I really enjoyed walking around here, reading the quotes, and taking my time to really admire on how Hubert Humphrey had worked really hard in his public life, um, including in the U.S. Senate and also as vice president under President Johnson, on trying to expand and making civil rights, including people with disability rights, stronger. And I continue to love learning history because of his work, and also for me to continue to try my hardest to advocate for civil rights, including people with disability rights. And so I try my best to honor Honorable Humphrey's vision, and I'm glad that I take the time to explore his statue and learn a little bit about his life. Hi everyone, my name is Matt Winnick. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I am exploring the Minnesota State Capitol and walking on the grounds of it to learn a little about the history. And I just want to say that I truly am inspired and admire Governor Walz, Governor Tim Walz, for his continuous support for people with disability rights, his continuous support to fund special education to help many students with disabilities and them getting accommodations to assist them with learning. Also, I really like on how he is a big supporter for the autism community and advocating for better treatment programs to help people with autism spectrum or people with disabilities get access to healthcare needs. And I want to say that I have autism, including a learning disability, along with a cognitive disability, and it's a challenge for me on having it because I struggle on navigating society. I struggle when I'm on a job, when I'm trying to do other tasks in a fast-paced environment. Also, I deal with a lot of anti-disability stigma, including being bullied for having a disability. And I want to say that I really am inspired and really appreciate Governor Walz's support for people with disability rights and advocating for our fundamental rights. And it helps me be inspired to work hard on my disability, work on critical thinking skills, to be more interested in history and social justice policies too. Also, I really appreciate his wife, Mrs. Walz, for her continuously advocating for people with disability rights. I consider myself to be an independent, and I was very proud during the 2024 presidential election to have the courage to vote for the Harris and Walz ticket because I really was inspired by Governor Walz's strong support for people with disability rights. And so I wanted to say that I really am having a great time exploring St. Paul, Minnesota, including parts of Minneapolis, to explore the history and the culture. And I hope someday in the near future I can meet Governor Walz because he is such a true inspiration to me, and I'm very proud of him for working hard to try to make a difference for society, to advocate for people with disabilities, including human rights, also staying up for workers, minorities, women, people with disabilities, including immigrants that are facing a lot of struggles during this difficult time, or when we have a current president, including the news media, and also other people who want to use bigotry and hate against people with disabilities, minorities, women, and immigrants, and workers who are just struggling to get by in this country. And so I want to say I hope that Governor Walz can continue to have a strong voice for the people, including people with disabilities like mine, so we can live in a society where we can have equal opportunity, we can have better social justice policies, we can have ways to reduce discrimination policies, and ways to reduce anti-disability stigma. And so I want to give this short message of my appreciation to Governor Walz, including his wife, for their contributions on wanting to make a great difference for society. And so I really am having a great time exploring St. Paul, Minnesota, and parts of Minneapolis. So I hope Governor Walz can enjoy my nice video message. So thanks for listening. I found this Spoonbridge cherry sculpture right in the Minnesota Sculpture Garden, and this is one of my favorite sculptures. Very clever. I got cherry up there, and there's a cherry and a spoon. I found this love sculpture in the Minnesota Sculpture Garden, and sometimes it's hard for me to feel loved or to even appreciate myself because I struggle with autism, including a learning disability, and I deal with getting bullied by people, including some of my friends and people in general, for struggling with a disability, or if I struggle with social cues, if I can't meet other people's standards, if I struggle with doing tasks in the workplace or volunteering or trying to fit in with other people. And so sometimes it's really hard for me to feel okay with myself when I struggle in life, even though I try my best to be a good person, trying to be kind, compassionate, understanding, use critical thinking skills to help me understand different situations, to learn better or to improve myself or to educate myself. But all I can do is look above in the sky and know that Jesus, Pope Francis, all the famous people that have inspired me, like Emily Dickinson, W. Du Bois, Abraham Lincoln, Van Gogh, Ada Lovelace, Kurt Vonnegut, and many more other famous people out there trying to remind me, hey, you're simply just trying your best to be a good human being who wants to do good things, be creative, and try to advocate for good common sense ideas like social justice, environmental protection. Healthcare is a human right, human rights, including people with disability rights. And also, when I look up in the sky, or what I think to myself is all the people that have passed away in my life, including my best friend, and where they try to remind me just continue on, for me to be kind, compassionate, understanding, and try to do good things despite the world being tough, or where it's polarized, or when there's a lot of bigotry and hate against people with disabilities like me, or when other people get mean at me. So I hope someday people can like me for who I am. I hope people can be understanding of me for simply just trying to be a human being who wants to do good things, who's trying my best to work hard in a job or in volunteering, or if I'm simply just trying my best to try to present myself as someone who's creative, who wants to do good things, even though I struggle with my disability or if I struggle with social cues. So I hope someday people can like me and appreciate me and understand that I'm simply just trying my hardest to be a decent human being who is kind, compassionate, understanding, who wants to try to do good things with critical thinking skills, including being creative too. Hi everyone, my name is Matt. I am visiting the George Floyd Memorial Square. I want to take my time to pay my respects to George Floyd and to many other African Americans, minority women, and people with disabilities who have faced police brutality, including police misconduct. And I hope that in the near future we don't have to repeat the same mistakes in the past. I hope that we can hold law enforcement accountable for their actions, and we can hold law enforcement accountable when they do corruption behavior or when they do illegal police brutality, and many innocent Americans, including minorities, women, people with disabilities, and also on immigrants. So I want to take my time to pray for many people who have been victims of police brutality and who are victims of racial profiling and are dealing with difficult times. And I'm here just again to pay my respects to George Floyd and to many people who have suffered through illegal police brutality, including police misconduct. Also, what we need to do for the near future is we need to work on more legislation laws to hold many law enforcement accountable for their misconduct or police brutality. And it should be a bipartisan issue. It is an American issue, it's a civil rights issue, it's a civil liberties issue, it's a criminal justice reform, and it's important that we all protect our individual rights from dealing with oppression from law enforcement and from police corruption and police misconduct. So I hope we can encourage many more public officials, including judges, including members of the judicial system, and also including people who are on the prosecuting team, to continue to hold law enforcement accountable when they do illegal police brutality and also police misconduct, because we cannot go backwards. We cannot go back to days where we have law enforcement harassing and using bigotry or using police brutality and many innocent Americans, including African Americans, minorities, women, immigrants, and people with disabilities. And so I want to take my time to really pay my respects to George Floyd and to think of good thoughts and positive vibes to his family and to many people who are struggling during difficult times.
Hi, I'm Frederick Douglass. I went to see the George Floyd Memorial to pay my respects to him. He seems like he was a good man, but it makes me really sad to see how much we have so much police brutality and police doing misconduct, where they try to harass and harm minorities, my fellow African Americans, and women, immigrants, and people with disabilities. I wish we could have more legislation to stop police brutality and police misconduct and ways to reduce racial profiling, because we cannot go back to during difficult times again, where we deal with so much oppression and hate and bigotry from law enforcement against minorities, women, immigrants, and people with disabilities. So I'm here to pay my respects. And we'd also need to reduce racial profiling, and we need to improve civil rights to reduce discrimination and to end bigotry and hate. So I'm here to take my time to pay my respects.